Welcome to the Power of Pictures. My name is Sarah Wallace and I am the Maths lead within our team. This PechaKucha presentation is called Time to Talk and focuses upon the importance and value of mathematical vocabulary. A PechaKucha presentation consists of 20 slides with 20 seconds for each one and focuses upon the power of pictures for a total of 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Hopefully you will learn something new and find out just how important vocabulary is to children's conceptual understanding in mathematics. Remember, each picture shared will be a visual prompt to a key message, so why not see how many images you can recall at the end of the presentation. This will also help you to feedback the key messages of the presentation to the rest of your team. Mathematical language is vital to children's progress and their success in becoming master mathematicians. In fact, vocabulary is the glue that holds key mathematical concepts together. Young children can lack the language that they need to make sense of their ideas or to communicate their thoughts. This means that essential vocabulary also provides the building blocks of children's mathematical understanding. Children need to learn to verbalise their thinking by talking about what they are doing and why. If they have the words to express their ideas, they can make connections, explain their thinking, and further develop their knowledge of maths. Even our youngest children, babies, toddlers and 2-year-olds, will need to hear mathematical vocabulary way before they're able to use the words independently. When adults model essential language, we can give children the tools to use vocabulary for themselves. They become familiar with mathematical words in a purposeful way and can develop language comprehension. It is therefore vital that practitioners develop children's use of language alongside key mathematical concepts. New vocabulary should be planned, introduced and taught to children alongside each mathematical focus or topic. We always teach the maths concepts rather than the mathematical language in isolation. All adults working with children will need to use the same mathematical vocabulary accurately and precisely. This develops a consistent approach across the team and allows children to repeatedly hear the same words in different contexts. A shared list of mathematical terms can avoid word ambiguities and duplicate definitions. It is important that mathematical words and phrases are spoken clearly and with purpose. Mathematics is full of unique and often confusing words, and many terms have different meanings in everyday life. For example, face, take away and match. It helps if adults can speak slowly and enunciate word beginnings and endings. Of course, children will also need a safe learning environment where adults acknowledge all contributions and value different ways of thinking. As practitioners, we can foster a growth mindset and use mistakes as a springboard to explore new knowledge and understanding. Children can practice vocabulary and link maths terms to what they already know. Let's now unpick our most important resource in more detail, the role of the adult. In fact, there's a direct association between the quality and the frequency of mathematical language used by adults and children's progress in the subject. We need to plan regular times for adults and children to talk together. A great starting point for Maths Talk is to use observations of children's mathematical language and their individual interests. When we ask children to explain the words they use during their mathematical play and support them to describe what they mean, we can identify misconceptions and address any gaps in learning. A valuable way in which we can support children's mathematical vocabulary is to provide a running commentary of our own mathematical thinking. This means we use mathematical language as we think aloud and describe what we're doing. As we talk, we can explore our own verbal reasoning and repeat target words linked to key concepts. An effective practitioner will also model new words in meaningful and purposeful contexts. Adults need to include vocabulary in planning and provide many opportunities for children to revisit and rehearse these on a regular basis. Remember to ensure there's breadth of language across the year and for each age phase. Displaying vocabulary within the environment can be a useful prompt or reference point. Word clouds are a great resource to see target vocabulary at a glance. These can be created online and positively influence both mathematical and descriptive language in children's conversations. Of course, we can also encourage children to use new words through the use of open questions. Questions and discussion prompts are powerful tools to boost children's mathematical thinking. Mathematical language can be modelled and children are required to think, solve problems and talk about their learning. We always need a balance of different types of questions too. Adults can also invite children to describe what they hear, see and say. When children talk about their mathematical learning, they explain the strategies used and focus upon the process of learning rather than just the learning outcome. This self-reflection helps them to review existing knowledge and explore new ideas. Of course, self-reflection is also vital for practitioners, and peer-to-peer observations helps us to identify the language we are using consistently. We can even evaluate how our own attitudes to maths impact upon practice. If we tune into body language, even our facial expressions, we can make sure we visibly ooze enthusiasm for the subject. Peer observations can also focus upon key times of the day. Daily events allow us to introduce mathematical language and also offer plentiful opportunities to rehearse, consolidate and embed learning. Visual timetables and photos of each stage of a routine are also beneficial. Our learning environments also offer purposeful mathematical language, especially when we use graded size resources. If areas of continuous revision are enhanced with different size items, children will naturally use the language of measure. If resources are visually similar, we can reduce cognitive load and children can simply focus upon mathematical vocabulary. Exciting and unique collections of resources also promote language, and these can be explored in a variety of ways, including matching, sorting and ordering. They provide a wealth of maths talk opportunities. Open-ended resources are also great for counting, so don't forget to provide things that are irresistible to touch. Counting songs and rhymes are one of our greatest assets and should be shared regularly with our children. 10 green bottles is a firm favourite and includes a wealth of number names and numerals. Select songs that count forwards and backwards, include the concept of zero and count in different steps such as 2s, 5s and 10s. Hopefully it's now clear that mathematical vocabulary is at the heart of our curriculum. Let's support children to have a strong grasp of language and empower them to express themselves mathematically. When we know the right maths words to be used in the correct context, we can share ideas, make connections and see ourselves as confident mathematicians. If you'd like to find out more information about mathematical vocabulary and how it lays the foundations of children's early mathematical understanding, why not watch out for our forthcoming updated publication, Time to Talk. You can access information about this resource using the QR code displayed on the screen.